with fractions, let's say you have 1/2 plus 2/7. Now, can we add those just like they are? No. What do we have to do with this? All right, you need common denominators. So I take a look at 2 and I take a look at 7. Now, do you know what the method is for finding out your common denominators? I'm a big old. I like to have checklists, and I like to have those out there. So I like to make a lot of checklists. Now, you can just take a look at this and go 2 times 7 and say it's going to be 14. So one method is if the denominators are prime. What does that mean? Where you can only divide it by itself in 1 and get an integer answer. So can I basically, the only way, like for 2, I can only break it up into 2 times 1. For 7, I can only break it up into 7 times 1. I can't break it up into anything further than that. Now, if it's prime, you can multiply the denominators together to get your common denominator. Now, for example, in this case, I know my common denominator would be 2 times 7, which is 14. Since 2 and 7 are both prime. To make these into the same, here's what I do. 1/2 times something is going to be equal something over 14. Well, 2 times what equals 14? 7. So I'm going to put 7 over 7. Why would I put 7 over 7 here? What's 7 divided by 7? 1. So what's 1/2 times 1? What's 1/2 times 1? It's just 1/2, isn't it? So the idea is we don't want to change the values of the fractions. We just want to make them into numbers that we can add together. So the biggest trick, one of the biggest trick in the math book of tricks is to multiply by the number 1. It's just we decide to write the number 1 in a totally different way. So we write the 1 as 7 over 7. What's 1 times 7? 7. So this is really 7 over 14 plus something. 1/2 times 1 is 1/2. I could have. I probably did. It's first day of the semester. Because we don't have many days left. Alright, so I want another fraction that is over 14. So 2 times what is going to get me to 14? Or 7 times what? You're right. Alright, so 2 over 2. So I put 2 over 2 again. This is equal to 1. So I'm multiplying by 1 again. 2 times 7 here is 14. 2 times 2 is 4. So this becomes 4 over 14. So what's my answer? Do I add the 14s together? No, you keep them the same. And I just add the top together. Think of it like this. This is one pan of brownies. This is the second pan of brownies. This pan is cut up into 14 brownies. This one's cut up into 14 brownies. I have 7 brownies in one pan. I got 4 brownies in the other pan. So I have essentially 11 brownies out of the 14 that I cut up. That's basically what's going on here. And so that's your final answer right there. How you can do what? change this fraction right here, the 2/7, into 14. So I said, all right, 2/7 times something is going to be equal to something over 14. Now, I know these two numbers right here, 7 times whatever this number should be equal to 14. So that's my 2, and since that's a 2, that has to be a 2. And that makes it 1. So we're not multiplying by anything, really. But we're changing its form to 4/14. 2 times 2. So all we're doing is we're transforming it into an equivalent fraction in that case. I want you to show your work. If you have a different way of doing it, I want you to show your work. I want you to show your work. All right. Now, there is a method out there that if I did this, if I took 1/2 plus 2/7, and there's a method that if I multiply across here, 1 times 7 plus 2 times 2, and then I multiply these two together. Sometimes it's called the butterfly method because you're making a weird looking butterfly type thing. Then you go 2 times 7. That's 7 plus 4/14, which is 11/14. It works. So if you have A over B is plus C over D, AD plus BC is equal to BD. But the problem is, ladies and gentlemen, the problem with that is it doesn't work unless you only have two fractions. A while ago, back in like 2007, this international agency tested a bunch of juniors in various different countries, and the easiest problem with adding fractions was this. And the United States got nailed on it because they didn't know how to. The people taking the test weren't very good at doing that. They were good at this trick, because that's all this is. This is a trick. But they weren't good about doing this. Now, for this problem right here, what's my common denominator? Well, is 3 prime? I know 5 is prime, so I'll get 3 times 5 times, in this case, times 4. Well, what's 5 times 4? 20 times 3 is 60. So my answer is 60. So if I take 2/3 times something is equal to something over 60, 3 times what gets me to 60? So I'll get 20 over 20, which is, what's 2 times 20? 40. Now I'll take the 1/4 times something is equal to 60. 4 times what gets me to 60? 15. So I got 15 up here. What's 1 times 15? 15. And now I'll take the 3/5 times something is equal to something over 60. Well, 5 would go into 50 10 times, so how many more 5s than 50 do you need to get to 60? Say you're at 50, you need 2 more 5s, so we need a total of 12 5s. What's 3 times 12? 36. So this answer right here is going to be equal to 40 over 60 plus 15 over 60 plus 36 over 60 All right, so what's 40 plus 15? 55. And then we got to add 36 to that. 11, carry the 1. So I get 91 over 60. And we're done with that.